off it or it crashes down. Choose your adventure, cause eventually you're ashes. So I live for my passions, ain't no life passing me by, I'm all about action. We can talk about it later when we feel the effects, cause they were lasting. Putting in the work now, so later we can kick back. I ain't got no 401k, just a click track. Making something out of nothing, then that something gives back. Residual energy, call that the feedback. Loop it up and make a new arrangement, then bump that to infinity and back to the present, where we put it on wax so we can deliver the message to the people tuning in on the earbuds, or if they hear it on the speakers in the big club. These days it's rare to hear something unique. Copycats copying copycats and sounding weak. I'm here to leave an impression, cause it seems the rap scene is in a depression. It's really that simple. Placid, had to shake it up, change the perception. Laughing instead of crying and complaining, control the emotions. Even when it's raining, the grass is growing, and I'm knowing that it takes hardship to build character. That's why I'm breathing it in, don't need an air filter. Building up resistance, immune to the garbage. Sticking to my heart, that's the life of an artist. Hardest thing I've done is stay true to it. A lot of cats fall off, don't follow through with it. I try to not get lost when I'm looking for myself. The moral compass guides us to find the true north. Stick to the path, I stay on course. Of course I lost my way a couple times to find my voice. Now that I found it, I'ma use it, make some noise. Better yet, some music so our souls can rejoice.
Said I wanna leave to see the mountains. I said I really wanna hit the road. But no matter what I said, it's all just in my head. In reality I've yet to go. Cause I think I'll do it later. Better now to wait. But you go ahead and throw a different plan my way. Why not today? Why not today? You got your life to waste. Don't wait around for circumstance to go your way. Why not today? Why not today? Just go now, it's okay. Escape now from your cage. You've got your life to waste. Why not today? Why not today? While I'm whistling this tune, and we'll eat homemade pasta in any city we want to. Pack a bag and say, come on, let's go. Cause we could do this later, and sure it's worth the wait. But I think we have a better plan in place. Why not today? Why not today? You got your life to waste. Don't wait around for circumstance to go your way. Why not today? Why not today? Just go now, it's okay. Escape now from your cage. You've got your life to waste. Why not today? Why not today?
All right. Hey, good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you may be in bars. This is Metaphysical Meetup with Mark live here on Fridays at the Intuitive Prospector Facebook page and over on YouTube, which we premiere here in just a little bit. Sorry for the delay. Zoom has done some upgrades. They've done some changes. And what it does is it changes your camera angle and everything. And I finally figured it out. But just the churning of technology, if you will. And of course, we are full smack in Mercury retrograde. If you're not familiar with that, you can go to the Farmer's Almanac. It's more of an astrology thing when things get a little bit wacky based on alignment or lack of environment, or lack of alignment, not environment. And excuse me. And it's interesting because I have been doing this for a while now, and I've even we've done 8 seasons of Inspired Living, which is my radio show, my podcast. You can get that wherever you listen to your podcast from. And even this last Wednesday, we had technical issues with my producer's soundboard. Like everything was working, talking with the guest. She could hear me, I could hear her. We couldn't hear our producer. And it ended up being a JavaScript that he had to re-push. And it just seems over the 8 seasons of when we're in this time frame, maybe it's just maybe it's a coincidence or a synchronicity. But if you follow my work, you know that I don't believe in the coincidences and synchronicities of life, because Einstein even said synchronicities and coincidences are God's way of remaining anonymous and the influence that it has on us. But we weren't able to do the podcast this week because of that soundboard and the technology and a JavaScript, which his tech guy had to re-push and rerun. And it's just like, okay, just par for the course. That's just, you have to sometimes be patient and flexible. And I always say during Mercury retrograde, don't make any big decisions. If you're traveling, give yourself ample amount of time for delays, missing your flights, missing your cruise, any kind of computer glitches. It just seems that consistently, when I really started tracking this 8 years ago, it was because of my podcast that I've seen errors along the way. So we rescheduled our guests for next Wednesday. So we have 3 awesome podcasts coming up. Next Wednesday, the 21st, another guest on the 28th, and another guest on September 11th as we move into the month of September and the end of summer. I know it's sad. But just if you're experiencing things this week, or it started on the 4th, it goes through the 28th. So we have technically another week and a half of this. Just be mindful of how the material world can influence your world of what's going on. Like I said, travel, don't make big projects, don't make decisions on big projects, don't sign, big legal documentation. That goes for me too. I'm in a big legal issue right now, and I'm just being mindful of the numbers, based on retrograde. Now, you don't have to buy and subscribe to that. Like I said, with Metaphysical Meetup, I lay stuff out like a smorgasbord, like a spiritual buffet, and you can decide if you agree with that, don't agree with that, but we can always agree to disagree, and we can still be kind to one another. And that's really what we need to push forward, as our world seems to be in a very divided, chaotic, spastic way. And there's more to come, right? There's more chaos. But I see, ahead of us, this great coming together. And I was just talking to my colleague about, we're such a species of violence and chaos and greed and getting up to the corporate, whatever you need to do to get up that ladder, stab somebody in the back, what have you. And at some point that's going to end, because we have to evolve. We have to transcend, whether it's Mother Nature, whether it's a natural event, something on the planet changes our course, our direction, something in our universe. There's many scenarios where I've seen this great coming together, where people start appreciating where they live and appreciating their neighbors, regardless of how they look, who they support, who they worship, who they love. And that's usually going to be caused, and Deepak Chopra's talked about this, before there is enlightenment, it's usually preceded by great chaos, because it's the chaos, it's that struggle, right? Think of the caterpillar to the butterfly effect. It's the struggle within the cocoon that the caterpillar has to change. It has no choice but to change and morph and deliquefy and reliquefy into a whole new body, a whole new set, and then emerges the butterfly. And that's, I feel like, our roaring 20s. And if you followed my work, I've talked about how our roaring 20s, this decade of our roaring 20s, we're going to be very chaotic, very transformative, very historical in this decade. And I started talking about this on my podcast back in 2018. Even with the stuff I see coming up, the predictions, the forecasting, am I 100% right? No. But these are things that I see, that we are going to continue to have this chaos, but we'll look back from a historical standpoint, especially with countries around the world, especially the United States. There will be a change, and what we look like today will not look like in the future. It's going to be quite transformative, quite different, including the United States. I don't see the United States being all 50 states, unfortunately. I see new states come in, and I see old states succeeding and leaving, which is going to cause even more historical, chaos and war and revolution and civil war and divide. But that is just history. That happens throughout history, and we're witnessing it. And we have the technology to capture it and hopefully record it accurately, because you got to be honest with yourself. Our history is not very accurate. It's written down based on subjective viewpoints, and that's just what we know. Imagine what we don't know, right? And I always, let people know, if you follow my journey, just because we don't see it does not mean it's not there. And it took me a long time to come to that realization, based on my own spiritual journey, my own spiritual awakening, my own mentoring and education with great people, to understand spirituality of what is seen and what is unseen, and using your faculties to navigate both the material world, and if you're navigating the spiritual path, which it opens up a lot more doors of opportunity, of growth, of wisdom, of healing. So today I wanted to talk about healing and give you maybe some tips to help you on your journey. I want to let you know that my newsletter is out. I will try to put that over on the Facebook page if I can. Let me get over to Facebook. Good morning to my moderators. Thank you for being here, moderating the comments, making sure that we're keeping any kind of trolls, clickbaiters, bots out of the community. Really focused on using my social media platforms for positivity, because today's social media is just, I'll just be honest with you, it's just crap. It's really just, there's a lot of stuff out there. So if you've made your way into our community page through the Intuitive Prospector, or over my YouTube channel, Soul Adventures, which will be airing the next show here at noon, thank you. And thank you for being here, and really participate with the community, leave comments, but do it in a way that we can make a positive space. I opened up the show with 2 songs that are royalty-free songs. One is called Why Not Today by Sleeping Lion, and the other one is The Ripple Effect by Spence Quality, because there is a ripple effect, and we want to create a ripple effect of transformation, of ascension, of healing, of being a good neighbor, of treating each other with kindness and respect and compassion. And that's really the communities I'm trying to create, whether it's over on TikTok, whether it's on Instagram, whether it's my YouTube channel or my Facebook page here, The Intuitive Prospector. So participate, please. I'll get into some readings here in just a little bit, and try to create social media from a positive standpoint, because again, this is a tool, and with any tool, you give a tool to a species that's never used it before, there's going to be chaos. There's going to be, it's like when the internet came out, there was such fear and doom and gloom on the internet. It's going to be the end of us, and it's going to connect people, and there's going to be the dark web, and and there are bad things that have happened through the internet, but there are also good things that have happened through the internet that has allowed us to transform and to evolve. And we have more technology tools that are going to be dropping into our awareness, dropping into our reality. That includes not just the internet, the social media, and I can say that because I was pre-internet before this all connection globally, pre-social media, and now we are incorporating AI, which is going to create some stir, robotics, which are going to be incorporated with AI, it's going to cause some stir. So we are being presented tools that we've never had before in history. And of course, with everything, there are growing pains and learning pains, but your focus determines your reality. And my focus is on helping people, inspiring people, encouraging people, motivating people, going down paths that maybe you've never been introduced before, and just learning to enjoy life in the present moment, not worrying about what the future's hold, because the future is not guaranteed to any of us, and the past cannot be changed by any of us unless you have a time machine. And if you do, please reach out to me, because I'd love to go on a journey with you back in time or into the future to see what's coming up. But I do see great things coming for us in the great coming together as part of my forecasting and my prediction models. But to get to that great coming together, there's going to be a lot of turbulence, right? It's like flying in a plane, and sometimes you hit some turbulence before you land. We're in that flight path right now of a lot of turbulence, a lot of uncertainty and unknown. But eventually, this plane will land, and all will be fine. So one of the things that today's episode is about being a healer. Now, I have done a lot of healing myself, and worked on myself both emotionally, mentally, physically. I'm working on myself physically right now from my major life-changing surgery that I had on my spine 4 months ago. Doing really good healing. I've got some nerve stuff that I'm working through. It's called sprouting. I'm learning too. When you go through a transformation, whether it's through a surgery or maybe a life change in your career, your relationships, you learn if you choose to, and it's about how you want to focus on the changes that are coming to you. And one of the things that I've been working in is the thing called sprouting. And it's when you have certain parts of your body that have been dormant because the nerves have been closed off or pinched off, like in my case, that's what happened to me. And when you get fixed, which my spine got lifted, fused, fixed, but I'm now having to reintroduce parts of my body, especially my hips and my buttocks and my upper thighs, to reintroduce my nerves, because nerves don't regrow. Muscles and ligaments and tendons can regrow and rejuvenate, but the nerves do not. But they find a way to re-sprout, to actively fire, and that's the pain that I've been going through in the last couple of weeks, is this sprouting. It's something it's new. If you've ever had that dull, achy pain that kind of keeps you awake, that's what it feels like. If you ever had like shin splints, or when you were growing, I remember my knees when I was growing in high school. I went from my sophomore year to my senior year, I grew like 4 inches. I went from like 5'8" to 6 foot, and those are growing pains, right? And my knees were just killing me. It was great for my basketball career, but the pain to get there, the growing pains. And so this is kind of how I look at this sprouting, as something that I'm reintroducing my nerves to parts of my body that have been dormant because of my injury, and the sprouting is refiring, kind of like the brain. We've done podcasts and shows about the brain, how powerful the brain is, which is called neuroplasticity. And I've had experts on from Columbia University, Columbia Hospital, Stanford. I think we did one with a professor from Harvard, and we talked about neuroplasticity and how the brain can rewire, and the body can do the same thing. I just didn't know it was called I didn't know it was called sprouting, or based on your nerves. So I'm learning a lot of different stuff. So, when you work through the healing aspect, you have to work through the aspects of the mind, the body, the spirit, the mental aspects. It's all one. And a healer, I don't heal people. Okay. I give you, let's say you come to my studio, and I set you up, and we do a nice sound bath. And these frequencies are based on a healing frequencies. And you can see the bowls behind me, and this couch actually pulls out into a nice crystal laid bed. This table over here slides, and I do healing modalities on people based on sound. And Carl Sagan, Albert Einstein, Gene Roddenberry, they always said that the future of medicine would be through frequency and music and sound and vibration. That's Nikola Tesla. They all said, and I believe that, whether it's from the guitar or my sound stick that's hanging up on the wall behind me, the sound baths, different frequencies. And these vibrations can help to heal you. So I am a healer, but I don't heal people. I just have tools, modalities, and education to help you on the healing journey. But what a healer will do is, a lot of times, if we are working in a healing modality, it's to trigger you, because it's the triggering that activates your mindset, right? So sorry, I'm just getting over the intuitive prospector, so I can give you some shout outs. But shout outs to my team, my moderators, keeping everything clean, keeping the community upbeat and positive. Thank you for being here. So a healer will trigger you. So if you come to have a session with me and I trigger you, it's not intentionally from a place of, trying to be mean to you, or kick you when you're down. It's inventable. It's our purpose to trigger you into healing, to change your frequency, to change your mindset, to change your focus. That's what a healer does. And some of the best healers and mentors have triggered me in a way where like, I just don't like, I don't agree with that person. I don't like that person. They're triggered. They hit something in me. So when I'm having a reading with somebody, last night I had a Zoom reading with a client, and there were some things that came up from a mediumship standpoint that triggered her. And of course, when you're the messenger, you're going to get lashed out at as the messenger. But as the medium between what is seen and what is unseen, just like my book, this is my book. Well, my contributions from Best American Psychics are my psychic experiences between worlds. And you can get that at marklanehart.com or over on Amazon. It triggered some of the stuff that was coming through from her family members without getting too into personal details, but it was triggering her. And I told her that is our purpose. Our purpose is sometimes to trigger you into healing because you're bringing the triggers into your awareness, right? That is, awareness is the greatest agent for change. And a couple weeks ago, I did a show on don't deny the triggers, acknowledge the triggers, work through the triggers. To trigger your wounds to the surface. That's like, it's like pushing something out. Like let's say you get a sliver in your thumb. Eventually the body, it hurts, it's triggering you, right? You can't get it. But eventually over time, the body will push the sliver out. There was a point when I was going through my physical transformation of my spiritual path awakening, and some of the foods that I loved, I couldn't eat anymore. And it was really pissing me off. It was really like, I love this food, especially if it was carb based, right? And what happened is my body became sensitive to the gluten in our foods because we do eat a lot of manufactured foods. I'm from the 70s, the generation of manufactured foods, Kraft macaroni cheese, Top Ramen, Rice-A-Roni, you name it. And so the stuff that I grew up on, we didn't have a lot of money growing up, so I didn't have, I was eating a lot of manufactured boxed foods. But over time, my body said, you can't do it. And you become sensitive to the glutens that are in the food chain that has been manipulated and changed over time. And what happens is you get too much, what do I want to say? You get too much with the gluten, where the body will start pushing it out through your fingers. So my fingers would get all red and irritated in my palms. And I'm like, what the hell is going on? Well, it was a gluten sensitivity where the body will push out the stuff that's in gluten. Totally blanking on it right now, but it's what I'm saying is the body will push out what it doesn't resonate with, right? And when you go to get a healing, whether it's Reiki or a sound bath or a meditation or a workshop or a breath work, your teacher, your healer, your mentor may trigger you. Don't take it out on them. They're just the messenger, the medium, the teacher to develop and present to you a pathway into healing. If a healer triggers you, that's a good healer. They're not healing you. They're giving you the opportunities and the tools and the pathways to trigger into a healing frequency. And so to trigger your wounds to the surface, just like pushing out an old sliver, or you have too much, I'm going to think of the word when it comes to gluten. If somebody can put in the comments if you know what I'm talking about. In my mind, I keep saying too much sulfur, but it's not sulfur. It's too much. So I had to change my diet. I actually got tested, found the things that I was sensitive to because I had changed on my spiritual path, and it would push out through my fingers, and it was very. I'm over it now, but I'm mindful of what I eat, right? So the gluten has too much in your system. When you have too much, not sodium, not sulfur. Let me go to the Facebook page. Maybe somebody put a comment in. It's going to bother me now. Let's see. Let's get over into the page. Comments. Go over to my phone too. Too much. Dang it. I'm trying to think of it and I can't. So we'll pause here real quick and I'll just let me just jump in and say hi to everybody. Good morning, my mom. Good morning, Rafe. Good to see you. Too much. Oh, we have the internet, right? Gluten is too much what in your system? Didn't think we'd go this route because I'm talking about healing today. Gluten in your body is too much what? And that's what we do on Metaphysical Meetup, right? There's no script here. So gluten can trigger severe autoimmune response to other unpleasant symptoms. Gluten can cause serious side effects in some people when the body senses gluten as a toxin. The immune system overacts and attacks it, which can damage the lining of your small intestine, and the damage can lead to a variety of symptoms ranging from mild to severe. Celiac disease is another one. Some people don't have celiac disease, still feel sick after eating foods that contain gluten, which was me. And I didn't know that it was actually a colleague that said, have you been checked for gluten? I'm like, no. And that's sometimes the price of sensitivity is your own sensitivity. Let's see what John Hopkins has to say. Discomfort, bloating, abdominal pain, diarrhea, all that stuff. But you have too much something in your system, and that's gluten intolerance, non-celiac, gluten sensitive. Too much of what? You can have joint pain, depression, brain fog. Yeah, there's a lot of stuff here that, it's a wheat allergy. So I was eating a lot of I was doing a lot of protein drinks that had the whey protein in it, which is a wheat. And we've changed our wheat, how we manufacture. We've actually played with the food chain, and that's why there's a lot of people that are very sensitive. Of course, I'll think of this after the show is over. But if you're having changes with your system and you're becoming more sensitive to food, it might be because you've changed. And age, as you get older, your aging also changes you as well. So barley, malt, rye, brewer's yeast. Thank you. I found it. Oh my gosh. Wheat and any derivatives of wheat, such as spelt. So what happens is, pasta. Love pasta, right? Love pasta. Bread and pastries. Who doesn't love bread and pastries and morning baked goods? Noodles, crackers, cereals, pancakes, waffles, crepes, biscuits, beers, malt beverages. They all contain yeast, right? And so over time, those are the foods that I grew up with. And I love my pasta. I love pasta, but there would be a price to pay, and I had to change that to go wheat-free or non-gluten pasta, because the yeast would get pushed out either in your digestive tract or through your skin. So what I'm saying is pushing those things out, the body will recognize, because it's a toxin and it does no longer, it's not in accord with where your body is, bending on your age, based on your changes, based on your immune system, based on your autoimmune system. So what happens with healing, and what I was talking about, because healing should trigger your wounds to the surface, like yeast or a sliver being pushed out. So that's what I was trying to say. Too much yeast in the body gets pushed out. Sliver deep in the body will eventually get pushed out by the body. The same thing happens with healing. And when you trigger you to face your own darkness, to have you face the things you may not want to look at. And that happened for me a couple years ago, things that I had to look at that I was angry about, uncomfortable about, upset about, depressed about. Had to face those. And I went through a lot of different trainings, biofeedback, hypnotherapy, a lot of breath work, counseling, to face those, to help push out, like a sliver that's painful, to have that pushed out of my mental, emotional, and physical and spiritual body, right? So it triggers you into acceptance. It triggers you to grow and to evolve into your highest self. And that pathway is not an easy pathway. So have yourself patience, time, grace, dedicated to change. Not everyone is dedicated to change. Not some people, I'm sure in your life, don't want to change, won't acknowledge change. But what happens is a healer will trigger you. It's going to happen. That's a good healer. They don't heal you. They just trigger you. That's their purpose. That's our purpose. That's what a sound bath can do. It can really raise your vibration to be like, I don't know what's happening. I don't understand. My body feels weird. I feel spacier. I feel unbalanced. Plant medicines. I've had my first experience with plant medicines recently, and that has changed me. That has been a awareness to push into that healing. And the people that I was with, they didn't heal me personally, but they were the channels, they were the guides, they were the teachers, the mentors, and they offered the tools to allow me to heal with plant medicines, right? That's something that I've done on my own journey. So what happens is to trigger you into healing, to trigger your wounds to the surface. Like I said, think of it like a sliver being pushed out, to trigger you to face your own darkness, to trigger you into accepting, integrating, and loving your shadow, because there is a balance of light and dark, yin and yang, brain and heart, the good part of you, the not so good part of you. I believe that there is a good gene in every single person in who's ever lived, and they decide what they want to do with that. Some people would debate. I'm sure at some point some of the most horrible people in history have done horrible things. At some point, there was good in them, right? And you have to face what you want to go with, the balance of light and dark, the yin and the yang. And what it does is a healer will trigger you into accepting, integrating, and loving your shadow. For example, when I've now worked with plant medicine personally, I've observed it in the past. I've been invited to it for several years. I just didn't want to do it because the timing wasn't right. I've now gone on that journey. And after the 3 days of plant medicine, we have a 6-month process called integration, that you integrate from the plant medicine, the connection that you had to something bigger than yourself, right? And it's interesting how in many countries some of these plant medicines are illegal because there's an access point that has true healing powers in it and true connection and bridges to something bigger than yourself, but yet it's illegal. But we have a healthcare system that really just prescribes medications made by man, but we've outlawed plant medicines that have been around for centuries, thousands of years, used by cultures all around the world for thousands of years. So it's an interesting dynamic to me how we have in our current system. And that will change, especially as I promote more plant medicine and my belief and my experiences now with plant medicine for healing, for depression, for PTSD, for anxiety, for true integration. But we have 6 months of integration that takes place from the experience. So the healing is to trigger you into accepting, bring an awareness of change, triggering you to grow and evolve to your highest self, and to also integrate and love in the bad part of you that you may, maybe it's your past, or maybe it's the things you've done and you haven't come to terms with. Nobody is perfect in life, right? We've all sinned, we've all made bad choices, bad decisions. I'm sure if we could go back and even look at the life of Jesus, there was times that he didn't get it right? Because Jesus didn't, whether you believe in Jesus or not, he did not become the Christ consciousness until a few hundred years after debating with the councils and Constantine that really truly created that Christ label for him, right? But if we could really go back, I don't think I have the book here. There's a book called The Gnostic Gospel According to St. Thomas, and it talks about his struggles, and he walked with Jesus. I would love, if somebody does have a time machine, I would love to go back in time and watch the full journey of Jesus for the truth of it, right? There's a book, I don't have it here, but it's called the Lost Years of Jesus. And it was, because we learn about Jesus later in the scripture. We hear about it in the Old Testament briefly with John the Baptist and then later with the disciples. But there are books written from other countries, including India and Nepal, where there are records of evidence that Jesus actually went to Nepal and Tibet to learn how to meditate, right? So it'd be cool because I'm sure along the way, as a human being, that he made, people are going to be up in arms. Oh, Jesus didn't sin. You don't know that. You don't know the entire story of him. I don't know that. But I believe that there's good in every single person. And at some point they choose to either walk in that darkness or walk in that light. And that's based on free will and choice. And that's your journey. That's the cool thing about spiritualism is religion is following dogmas and doctrine and being told what to do, and you're going to follow that no matter what. That's religion. Spirituality is your own path, your own connection, your own way to find the truth for you, and truth will set you free, right? So it's an interesting journey. But that's one thing I love, or I'd love to have just full access to the archives at the Vatican, because there are many letters that were not put into the Bible, over 45, and I believe the Bible is 66 letters bound into a book. If 45 letters are left out, that's over half the Bible. Why are those left out, right? That's editing. That's not telling the whole truth, but the truth so set you free. And if you really are coming on a journey of truly wanting to heal from the inside out, heal that inner body, not the outer body, then you're going to move to a place that triggers you to grow and to evolve into your highest self. And it's hard to do because of the influences based, like I said, based on culture, based on learned behaviors, based on family, social pressures, community conditioning, right? What you watch on television, right? Television is to tell a vision. Break the word down. Programming that you're watching. What programming are you watching? Programming. Think of the word programming. You're watching television, we say TV for short, but television, and you're watching a certain program being programmed based on what you're watching. Spirituality breaks you free from that. Spirituality has you no longer being programmed, no longer tells a vision. You follow your own path. The journey of 1,000 miles begins with a single step. That's what Lao Tzu always talked about. And I've always read it, resonated with that. And what happens is it's going to trigger you to grow into your higher self, but it doesn't mean they're bringing out the worst in you. So when you're working with a healer, be kind, be patient. The healer is trying to move that sliver out, move that yeast out, move you to your higher self through the tools. Like I said, whether it's a sound bath, plant medicine, meditation, breath work, qigong, think of your own modalities, counseling, biofeedback, hypnotherapy. I have done it all. And it has put me to a path where I have embraced my higher self. And it's bringing out not the worst in you, it's bringing out the best in you by working through the worst in you. On the contrary, they're bringing you closer to the best in you. It's all based on intention and energy matter. Your intention, your focus determines your reality, right? So that's what I wanted to talk about, how healers can trigger you. And it just, I was thinking about today when I do my shows, I don't write a script. There's no agenda. This is all based on inspiration, based on real-time download data that I'm sharing with you. And last night, my client got a little triggered, and you could tell that she was lashing out at me because of what the messages were coming through based on her connections. And that's okay. I can say I have thick skin. I have done thousands of readings with people all around the world, and I understand that as a healer. And that's what I had to say to her, is that the healing is triggering you. And if somebody says something or does something and it triggers you, practice the pause, take a step back, take a breath. That's why I have the breath tattoo as a reminder. Instead of tapping a vein and getting, addicted to drugs, or, when you get people into drugs, they want to be high because they don't want to address the pain of life. That's why I put this here, because instead of tapping a vein, I tap the breath. And this is Sanskrit. This is one of the most oldest ancient Sanskrits ever written based on the breath. And it starts with the breath in, the journey, and the final exhalation. And so this reminds me, and I'm like, nope, this is triggering me. Tap my breath tattoo, practice the pause, taking a deep breath, and breathe into that pain, breathe into what it was, what triggered me. And I've been triggered this week by a few different events, including what I've been working with from a legal standpoint. A report that's been released that I started last year, over 400 pages. There's some personal things that have triggered me. So when they trigger you, don't deny the triggers, like I said a few shows ago, but also work on what healing modalities can help you bring awareness and bring to the surface the things that are triggering you, that are your past or your present, or maybe you're thinking about future events that haven't even happened yet. So exercise is really good. Like I love to get in the pool now and I just swim. I put my fins on and just swim underwater. It's quiet, swim my laps. I'm back to playing a little bit of basketball. I haven't played in months, and I just got released to do that. Swinging a golf club, getting out in nature. These are all aspects to help you when you are triggered. And what happens is, again, it's going to trigger you to face your darkness. Come to terms with the triggers. Don't deny the triggers. Bring awareness to the triggers. Breathe through the triggers and use tools, whether it's playing a guitar or getting out in nature or writing or dancing or singing. Use whatever is most comfortable to you to help you heal. Because you're trying to evolve, you're trying to bring not the worst out in you, you're trying to address the worst of what you feel, self-sabotage or guilt or whatever it may be, and you're accepting, integrating, and loving your shadow self, and you're loving your higher self so you can emerge that in. So it's like that sliver I talked about being pushed out, you're also bringing to light your higher self. And through that process, you will change. Your career may change. Your friendships may change, your relationship may change, your family relationships may change, and that is okay. Because again, the caterpillar only gets to the butterfly through a severe struggle in the cocoon. And when you get to the butterfly, and no judgment or opinion, but when you're in a butterfly state of mind, it's really hard to have butterflies speak with caterpillar people, because you have people that want to grow and you have people that don't want to grow. And that's okay. That's all free will and choice. Like there's a picture I'm looking at, it shows the caterpillar and it says, this sucks. Then it goes into the cocoon phase and it goes, this sucks even more. And then the butterfly with all of its colors and its perspective of a higher perspective with wings now is flying, and it goes, but it was worth it. So that's what I'm saying. If you're in a very dark night of the soul, or your journey, you just, you're struggling, work through your obstacles. Perspective is everything. I always talk about the strength of spirituality. And if you're religious, that's fine too. Go to a religion, find that inspiration, find that sermon, find that pastor. I grew up in Catholicism and moved into Christianity and had a really great dedication and a great pastor, Pastor Gary, who actually married my wife and I 30 years ago. But that led me to my spiritual path. And we always say in spirituality, it's the ability to shift your perspective, which Einstein always said flexibility is the highest form of intelligence. Darwin said it's not the strongest that survive, it's not the smartest that survive, it's those that are the most flexible to shift their perspective. So I'm going to give you some things on perspective is everything. And again, you can agree to disagree, that's fine. I'm just laying this out like a smorgasbord, like a buffet. But these are the things that I've used to help, because again, you're going to get feedback from family and friends, your own feedback from your self-sabotaged ego mind. Oh, that's not right. Why are you doing that, Mark? Why, it's just like all these voices, both external and internal. And it's like, stop, tap that vein, tap that breath. If you're facing obstacles, the alternative perspective is opportunities. Obstacles, opportunities. If you have struggles, turn that into strength. The show that's over on YouTube is how to take pain and turn it into purpose, right? So again, your perspective is based on, I'm going to give you words and you decide which way you want to go. Obstacles, opportunities. Your free will and choice and your ego and your learned behaviors and how you've grown up will dictate, is this an opportunity or is this an obstacle? You decide, right? Is this a struggle or is this a strength? You can take your struggles and turn them into strengths, right? Is this a setback or is it a stepping stone? Right? These are all perspectives. Is this rejection? Oh, I've been rejected at a very deep personal level, including my own father. I'll be transparent. I was rejected by my own real father. But do I take that as rejection or do I take that as resilience? I take it as resilience, right? I can play the victim and say I was rejected. He didn't want me, he didn't love me, blah, blah, blah. Self-sabotage, ego voice. No. That's resilience, right? Be a really good uncle to my nieces and nephews. Be maybe the father they didn't have, right? I'm not their father, but I can be a father influence, right? That's resilience. Rejection, resilience. Shadow, when I talked about the shadow work, or just hidden truths. The truths of who you are, just hidden. We don't need to share all the stuff in our closets. We all have our skeletons. But is it a shadow, negative thing? Or is it just hidden truths? Is it a mistake? Or is it a masterclass? And I actually do masterclasses online. I'm actually a member of masterclasses, and I've got some brilliant guidance from masterclasses. It's not a mistake. We all make mistakes. Failure. For me, failure is first attempt at learning. And what is life? Learn it from experience. So I hope you fail often. I hope you fail daily, because it's that failure, that first attempt in learning. And is it a mistake? Perhaps. Or perhaps it's a masterclass. For me, it's masterclass because I take my mistakes. Even if I repeat them and I repeat them and repeat them, right? It's still a masterclass. I'm still learning. I'm still growing. Is it a fear or is it my fuel for courage? And if you follow my journey and you want to learn more about, you can just go right here to marklane.com. Fear for me, that acronym is false evidence appearing real. And we see a lot of fear in our world through our media, through our social media, through our friends, our family, our social networks, our social influence, spheres of influence. A lot of fear-based energy there. And when it's fear that comes at me, I shut it down. False evidence appearing real, face everything and rise. And I take that fear and I turn it into fuel for courage. And of course, pain, the pain that you have, which I've had a lot of pain, especially in the last 4 months, more of the physical pain and the emotional pain and the mental pain from this change in my spine. But that gives me purpose. So again, obstacles, opportunities, struggles, strength, setbacks, stepping stones, rejection, resilience, shadows, hidden truth, mistakes, masterclasses, fears, fuel for courage, pain, purpose. You decide. You decide. And that's the beauty of life. That's the power. That is your superpower of life, is you decide your focus, and your focus will determine your reality. So I hope you enjoyed that for today based on healing. Again, if it's triggering you, that's a good thing. Don't deny the triggers. So let's get over and let me just give some shout outs over to the page. Bear with me. We'll get into some readings here. If you want a healing, I'm going to put the Zoom link in. Let me grab the Zoom link. If you want to come in, we can do a healing. We can do a mantra. We can do a meditation. I'm going to open up the Zoom room now. Let me get over the Intuitive Prospector page. Where are we at here? Where are we at here? Look for my avatar. Today's avatar is going to be avatars. Where's my avatars? Feeling grateful. So I'm going to put the feeling grateful avatar in there with the link to the Zoom room. If you want to come in and have a chat, love to chat with you. There's the Zoom room, or if my administrators want to grab that. So that's out there now. Feeling grateful. Look for that avatar, and then I'll get into the room here. Let me turn the volume down. And we can have some chats. Let's go prospecting. Let's find the diamond within and the many diamonds all around us, because there's a lot to be grateful for, a lot to be thankful for. And again, if you're caught up in the world and the chaos of the world, try to just take the time to disconnect and find the time to reconnect. Breath, meditation, prayer. I played my guitar. I write a lot. Again, my newsletter's out there. I will actually get my newsletter link out there if you want to check out the latest shows. You can get the newsletter at marklanehart.com right here. And then over on my page, there's a subscribe store. There's the Intuitive Prospector store where you can get my lavender love. You can get cool t-shirts like what I'm wearing here and get a discount off the shirt. You can join my Diamonds Hub or my Patreon Prospectors. Love to have you join as a subscriber. And then you go down on that page and there's all my newsletters. And so I'll put that link over as well. And let's go prospecting. And that's going to be my latest newsletter. So Constant Contact. There we go. That should be in the comment section there. So, okay. So let me just give some shout outs. Good morning to Denise. April, good to see you, my friend. Like I said, good morning to my mom. You're welcome, April. Hi, Nancy. Good to see you. Kira, Monkey Girl, how are you? Do this as a master. You need to do this. Click for me. Oh, good. You're welcome. Thanks, Monkey. You're welcome. Hi, Nancy. Okay, Venice. Go ahead and start putting your comments in. We've got somebody in the waiting room. Let's bring Nancy in. Let's have a chat. You want to have a meditation or a healing or a request, come on in. Just make sure to turn your volume down so we don't get feedback for the communications. If you're watching the show, turn your volume down on your desktop or your computer. Let's see what Nancy has for us today. And she's checking it out, and we'll have her come off mute so we can hear her lovely voice this morning. Hi, Kara. Good to see you. Happy to see you as well. Hi, Nancy. Yeah, you're on a phone. So there we go. How are you, my friend?
I'm hanging in there. Hanging in there.
So today's message, is it helping with the healing? Did the triggers that trigger us to move into that acceptance and awareness of healing?
It's helping me to pay attention to what I can do to help myself. Because I've been, I read somewhere the other day, you can have a lot of problems, but when you have a health problem, you have one problem. And so it's been that way. It's been pretty bad. So to help me get out of that and be able to focus on the spiritual side of myself, to help myself, it's a good reminder. Yeah.
Yeah. And, you make a really good point. When it's your health, you could be the richest person in the world and have all the money in the world, but if you don't have your health, does it really matter? Right.
Right.
And I think, that's been my, since April, that's been my biggest takeaway from all this is, they went in and put a 1/2-inch spacer in my spine and fused my vertebrae with 4 screws and 2 brackets.
Oh boy.
Right. 3D printed. So the technology is there, but it changes you to think about, okay, what are you truly grateful for? And your health is your true wealth. When you think about it at the end of the day, the wealth that you have is based on your health. And you could, like I said, you can be the richest person in the world, but if you don't have your health, then it doesn't matter. And I think of Steve Jobs before he passed away, and he passed away at the age, I think, of 56, which is only just a few years away from me. And he talked about that you could have all the money in the world, which he did. He founded Apple, and Apple is one of the biggest companies now in the world, a $1 trillion company, right? And he said at the end of the day, it didn't matter. He didn't have his health, and your health is your true wealth. And I find that the future of healing is going to be not based on going to a medical doctor in a very stale, white, clean environment. It's going to be this. It's going to be through the quantum aspects of digital. It's going to be through the sound. It's going to be through the frequency and vibration. And people come together like on a Zoom room. Because where are you at in the world? I can't remember. Where are you at?
I'm in Tucson now.
Yeah, so you're down in nice Arizona, right? And enjoying that
Right.
sun. And you and I,
Right.
yeah, and of course it's cloudy, right? And we have this
Right.
that lays up till about 1 o'clock and then it gets sunny. But we're connecting based on distances to work and discuss our healing, right? And what you're going through and what you have been journaling and traveling through of your own health and trying to get better, right?
Yeah.
And so I believe that the future of medicine is going to be on this quantum level through digital, through I meet with a lot of my doctors. I don't know about you, but a lot of my doctors that I've met with the last few months have all been online until
Oh, yeah.
right. So it's like, wait a minute, this is like Star Trek stuff. You had to go to the doctor to get, check your knees and open up and say, and look in your ears and look in your nose. It's like, I didn't have to do any of that. That's all been done in the digital aspect, right?
Yeah. Oh, we'll see how it goes. That could be interesting.
Yeah, I think as technology improves, as robotics, I mean, there was a surgeon in Japan. I was just reading about this. I follow a lot of future blogs. There was a surgeon in Japan that actually did a surgery here in the United States using robots, the Da Vinci machine. It's called.
Oh,
He sat at his desk with gloves on, and he was able to actually do a very precise surgery for somebody in the United States while he was in Japan.
oh,
So
wow.
to see, and what I'm saying is, if you think about where we're at today and how you and I are communicating between Seattle and Tucson, Arizona, this technology wasn't here even just 10 years ago, right?
Right.
Now we're doing this. Now you're going to be able to have where somebody can remote in using gloves or surgical tools. And I'm in Seattle and we're doing a surgery on you in Arizona, but I didn't have to go to Arizona, right? That's where we're going with our
Yeah.
technology, our AI and our robotics are going to be the next step of our evolution. And medicine is going to move into a quantum aspect of working in a digital realm, which people may not understand or may not agree with, but that is where we're going because we're doing it right now. You and I are talking about healing in a digital quantum forum through Zoom. So imagine what the next 10 years is going to look like from now when it comes
Well,
to
there
health.
really, we already know there's no distance between us in terms of this level, the higher
Yeah.
level. So, yeah, who knows what's next?
Yeah, and that's what we're moving into, that higher level, which, there's chaos along the way and there's difference of opinions and, is this a bad thing? Is this a good thing? Just like I was talking about earlier, the internet was very debatable if it was a good thing or bad thing. The internet led us to social media. Social media is leading us to this Zoom digital aspect. Now it's going to lead us to even more to where you can do things, but you don't have to be in the space to do it. What they put in my back didn't exist even 7 years ago. They used to use the spacer in my back, which is a ½ inch. So I'm back up to my original 6 foot. I actually lost a ½ inch.
Oh, yeah.
What they put in me was 3D printed titanium, where even just 8 years ago, it used to be just manufactured plastic, not actually measured to my spine. So when I got into the operating room, you had all these spacers that were actually all on this table. It was really weird. You had all these tools. Literally, the table was like this long. There was like 15 people, and you could see all of these different brackets and screws and spacers because they had printed out 3D printed based on the measurements of my spine to give me the curvature of my spine, right? And 7, 8 years ago, that was plastics just manufactured without really any specifications. And then they put it in me, right? And I don't even set the alarms off at the airport because I was worried about it. I'm like, I don't want to be the guy that's going to have to get wand all the way down. And we went through 2 airports and it didn't set it off. So we're seeing that the technology of medicine and even how they did my surgery was done by robotics, right?
Oh, they did.
They used a robotic machine on me. I only have 2 incisions on my low back about this big. And then I have an incision on my side where they put the spacer and they had to pound the spacer in. But it just shows you where we're going. And it's pretty cool. It's the unknown can be a little scary, but it's pretty cool. And I'm a testament to that. So what's going on with you don't have to get personally what's going on with you, but
Oh, no, that's okay.
we can go
You know,
sure.
what's interesting, I had a gallbladder surgery that same way. So I just have a little hole. Yeah. And I had open heart surgery. So that was a big deal 2 years ago. But now I had an osteopath cracked my neck and snap. And so I had an MRI done, and I have edema in my bone, and I'm
Oh.
trying to get into a neurosurgeon.
Yeah.
And Tucson, Arizona is really difficult to get into an appointment. So I've been waiting since February.
Yeah, I get that because I think what happened with the pandemic created a backlog, right?
Yeah.
I knew I needed surgery last December from the MRI, and I didn't get my surgery until April.
Okay.
So
Well,
that's
it's
literally,
good to know that you can wait.
yeah, the healthcare system is overrun. And I saw all different levels in the healthcare system. And there's a backlog there. And so, like I said, my spine had collapsed in December, and we could see that from the MRI. But in all the paperwork and all the
Oh boy.
I didn't get in until mid-April to have the surgery, and that
Yeah.
was the soonest they could get me in. Right, there was no bumping me up. And then after they got in there, they actually could see that the spine had completely collapsed on itself. So I was bone on bone, and that's why they had to pound the spacer in. So just be patient.
Yeah.
Once they get in there, you'll feel a lot better. And like I said, the techniques that they're coming up with now and the modern medicine, the way it's working, it's pretty cool. But I also want to say what we can do as a community for you, Nancy. Because I was having this conversation with a colleague about, what does it mean to hold space for another person? And the conversation I was having with this person on Monday at dinner, she wanted to fix the outcome of her child. And I said, you can't fix the outcome. That's you wanting to control the situation. But what you can do is you can hold space for him and walk alongside of him without any kind of fix, without any kind of outcome, right? That's the ego, right?
Yeah. Agree with you. Yeah.
And so for the community watching, what does it mean to hold space? This is what I'm talking about. Distant healing is going to become more powerful because it means that we're willing to walk alongside you, Nancy, and what you're going through with whatever journey, not just you, but anybody watching what you're going through without judging you, without making you feel inadequate, without trying to fix you. We're just being alongside of you, not trying to impact the outcome. And we're just holding space from an energy standpoint, from a metaphysical standpoint. We're holding our space for you with open hearts, with open thoughts, with unconditional support and love, and letting go of any judgment or control. That's what it really truly means to hold space.
Yeah.
So,
I always add in for the highest good of all concerned.
yeah, for the highest good, holding space for others. And I believe this is the future of what we're going to do with the technology, with the AI, with the robotics, that we can bring in people and hold space. So if anybody else is in the watching on the community, if you want to come in and hold space and set intention, there's true power in that. And science is going to eventually catch up. We always say spirituality is ahead of what physics and science hasn't yet realized.
Yeah.
But more and more, Nancy, that the scientific community, from just the brain frequencies, the sound frequencies, the auric field, the energy in your heart, is starting to confirm that there is something bigger than just having a pill or getting a shot in the arm.
Oh, absolutely.
You can heal from the inside out, not from the outside in. And why is that? Because from the outside in is a lot of money, right? Pharmaceuticals, take this pill, do this, do that. Inside doesn't cost anything, right? So there would be a lot of people out of money because you're healing.
Yeah.
So what are you doing on your journey to heal, or to just be in a place until you can have your surgery or have an outcome? What are you doing? If you don't mind sharing with the community, what are you doing?
Well, I'm glad I tuned into you today, because I will do more spiritual at the spiritual level. But what I've been doing is taking what I can to help it. But last night I went to urgent care, and they gave me a cortisone shot and prednisone and and oxycodone. And, it's like they recognized how. And the woman, it was neat because she walked out saying, "I'm so sorry for your suffering."
She was holding space.
Yeah.
Right? Technically she was holding space because she said, "I'm sorry." So empathy, compassion, holding space. That's what holding space really is sympathy and compassion and support. I'm sorry for your suffering. Right?
And I felt better just from hearing her say that. I did. I really did.
Words matter.
It does. It matters. It matters.
And I hear what you're saying. You know, the cortisone did that for a couple of years. The narcotics, which if you start taking narcotics, whether it's hydrocodone or oxycodone, there's a whole nother journey with that.
Right. She only gave me 10.
And
Yeah.
so, it's really about what can you do right now besides just, so those are all outside modalities, right? Those are
Yeah.
things you're taking that were prescribed to you from an outside. What can you do from an inside out perspective is what I'm asking you.
Yeah. Well, I, throughout my life, have talked to my guidance and angelic energy that's with me. And I had stopped doing that until last night. I sat down and read all I had written from them and realized, oh, I've got a team with me to help me, and I haven't been asking for help. And I know from what I've been told that I need to ask. So, I mean, it's really fortuitous to have come across you this morning, because I'm almost want to cry, because I know you from our start together on the spiritual path, and you know me, and I see we've been going through the same thing, and it's very inspiring to me to return to what I need to return to. Not that I haven't been doing it all along, but there's been a period of time here where it's been pretty difficult, open heart surgery, and all that. So I think it's time for me to return to really being, having that with me again. Yeah. So thank you, Mark. Thank you.
Thank you for coming in and sharing. I mean, the diamond within is created under extreme pressures, right? Pressures of life, pressures of health. I think for anybody watching either, live or in the future, it's important to ask, right? I always say this to my students. They're like, well, I didn't do that. I didn't get this. I didn't do it. I'm like, did you ask? And they're like, no. And I'm like, what I teach on is ask, believe, right? There's got to be some belief somewhere if you really want to see change and transformation and manifestation, right? So ask, believe, taking that nice deep breath, that divine breath, the breath that allows you to be here. And then after you do those three things, two things start to happen. You start to receive information, and then you're going to perceive that information that you're receiving, whether it's through here, through here, through here, through here. You have all the clairs of the body. And so, but it all starts with ask, right? Ask for help from what is unseen. Ask your spiritual guides, ask your angels, ask your ascended masters, ask the inspires. There's so many people that can help you, but we want to see it here, not knowing that there's a whole entourage behind us that if we ask, it shall be given. And I know who was famous for saying, ask and it shall be given.
Was it in the Bible?
It might be in the scripture, but they did a whole series on ask and it shall be Hicks or Abraham Hicks, or can't think of it right now, but ask and it shall be given, because
it is important to ask.
That journey of asking and then setting. Now, is it going to happen right away? Probably not, right? We as humans want it real time, right? And I always say, wait, be patient. Some of the best evidence will come after the ask, will come after the reading, will come after the intention, but our time is not their time. We are allotted to it, right? And so ask, and what I would recommend for you to help you on your journey, that helped me, is really do a lot of breath work. People underestimate the importance of breath work. Soma, Wim Hof. There's all sorts of, we have, the internet and the YouTube and the technology that you can go out and just doing breath work or a nice sound bath. Just feeling that vibration and then working with the breath deeply can be very, very beneficial, very, very transformative, and very healing for your journey. So while you're waiting for your surgeries or that outcome, focus on prayer, meditation, breath work, all free, doesn't cost you anything. It's really about your time management and your dedication to doing that process, which some of us, myself included, we fall out of, alignment, we fall off the wagon, oh, I don't want to do that. That's not going to help me, and then we depend on the outside to try to fix us, when really it's the inside journey that will really make all the difference.
And I think, the breath work, that's an important reminder for me, because people who are very empathic and I'm sure the people that follow you are empathic, you pick up other people's stuff. And if you're going through a difficult time, it just makes it that much more intense. So the breath work is important. I agree.
And what that does from an unseen standpoint, the breath work, you won't see it. You won't see it here. You'll know it inside of the third eye. But breath work will also increase the nervous system. There's a response that actually triggers the nervous system, the autoimmune system, the pineal gland that goes all the way through the spine, your auric field that expands out, the energy that's in your heart, because everything is energy, right? Everything you see behind me is energy. This coffee cup is energy, right? So if you realize the power of breath and how healing and transformative can be, that's probably the biggest takeaway that I've seen through this whole journey of what I've been on for the last 2 decades. Is it was a counselor that introduced me to Soma, S-O-M-A. I want you to check it out after we're done. And we did a Soma breathwork session, and you get to a part where you're in a state of hypoxia. So your body's very relaxed, the mind is very relaxed, and you feel like at times, like when you're holding your breath, you're like, am I going to die? You're not going to die because the body will unconsciously start breathing on its own. But if you do a true breath exercise through the Soma technique, you're going to feel better. And there's so many other things in the brain, the heart, the nervous system, your auric field, and the energy field that will. Have you read the book, The Human Energy Field by Barbara? I don't have it. It's called the HEF in Science, The Human Energy Field. It's a great book. It's about that thick, and it's a great visual to work on different aspects of an energy standpoint of the body. And it's Barbara Brennan, or I may not say her.
I know what you mean. Yeah.
Hands of Healing.
Yeah.
And this was years ago, right? And ancient, cultures from India to Australia to Native Americans and the indigenous cultures here all talked about the energy and the vibration and the drumming, right? I got my drum behind me.
Yeah. All right.
I had really beneficial workshops with the drumming, doom, 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 and walked out like, wow, I feel great. And did I do anything? No, I just blended with that energy, that healing, because it's all. So we're going to hold space. Yeah.
Well, thank you for the information, because I could do all the spiritual contact I want with my guides, but I have to participate.
You have to participate.
And I've been kind of frozen, so.
Remember, you need to ask and it shall be given, because you have the true power. You have that power. You just have to choose and free will to use it. But we're going to hold space for you, Nancy, and just keep in touch. Let me know how your journey goes, and work on that breath work. That's just going to help. That's going to help in the time being. All right, my friend.
All right. Thank you, Mark.
All right, take care, Nancy.
Bye.
Bye-bye. Well, thank you to Nancy for coming and sharing her perspective, sharing her journey personally, triggering, right? That healing that I was talking about, sometimes the message is, as a healer, I don't heal people, but I can trigger people into thinking, what can I do to start healing, right? That's the whole purpose of a healer, is to trigger you. And that's today's message. So if anybody else would like to come in, thanks to Nancy for coming in. The Zoom room is open. Look for that avatar. I'm going to do just a few more minutes here. If you want to request a reading through the comment section, looking for my star senders, my subscribers, whether it's Patreon or Diamonds Hub, you can get that information at marklanehart.com, or you can go click in the comment section. It says to subscribe, smash that like button. It's in the section. It's a pinned comment. But if you have a question for me, I'll just go ahead and sit here for a sec and let me know if you want a reading. Come to the Zoom room. Again, I keep forgetting my phone. I will put my number out there. I don't have the phone, but in the future, if you want to call me on my business line, the number is 206-588-0661. I meant to grab it and I keep forgetting to do that. So you can call me, you can Zoom in, you can chat in, type something into the chats. I'd love to hear from you. Today we're talking about healing, setting intentions, holding space, energy, aura, brain, nervous system, adrenals. I mean, there's a lot that's connected to the healing aspect, not just going to a doctor from an outside perspective and getting a medication or getting a shot. There's a lot of stuff that you can do internally and grow from the inside out to heal from the inside out versus the outside in. And all that does is it just makes the diamond even more brilliant, because you're applying that pressure, including healing, to reveal that diamond. So, Boye, Chris, hi, MD Sean Wass, hello to you. Kara, thanks for being here. May I have a card? I just took my baby to Texas to start her college career kind of emotional. Yeah, that is, right? She's going off into life and your role as parent has changed. You're still the parent, but now you're going to be more of the friend mentor as she goes off. Her or him, I don't think you put her or him. But you're setting your child off to the next phase of life, right? So the parenting has changed and you're now more of a mentor and a friend. You'll always be the parent. But yeah, let's do a card for you, my friend. Let me put my books down here. Let's see here. Her, okay. Hi, Anita. Good to see you, Anita. So let's, Kara, since you're in here real time, go ahead and pick a deck 1 through 14, please, and we'll actually have you choose the deck. So that's how I like to work anyway, especially at the quantum level, through the digital transformation of working together. So 1 through 14, go ahead and pick that number deck, and I'll pick that deck based on your intentions. Eight. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. All right. So today's deck is the Louise Hay deck. Very great deck. It's all based on thoughts. It's all based on good messages in here. So I'm going to shuffle, put my energy like you would be shuffling if you were here in the studio with me. You'd be shuffling this and putting your intentions. So when you hear the word stop, go ahead and just pound that out on the keyboard and then hit enter. And when I see it on my end, that's the card that I'll pick and choose for you. So when you hear the word stop, go ahead and type that in. Nice deep breath. Intentions are begat with breath work. If anybody else has a request, come on in, come into the Zoom room or chat in the comment section. And I'm just shuffling for Kara. Shuffle along. Type in stop when you get it on the keyboard. Give you about 30 seconds. Stop. There we go. Because sometimes people come in, drop off. That happens all the time. All right. Oh, interesting. Interesting alignment, Kara. The healing. My healing is already in process. And we just talked about this, right? The growth, the transformation, the ins and the outs. Look at it's a heart shape with the face in the middle. And what it says here for you is my willingness to forgive begins my healing process. I allow the love from my own heart to wash through me, cleansing and healing every part of my body. I know I am worth healing. So it's interesting that we are doing an episode on healing, and then you picked a card based on healing. So even though your daughter is going off to college and that's the emotional changes, right? There's going to be a healing process as well through that. So embrace that healing that I talked about. And you're triggered emotionally right now, right? So embrace that, trigger it, and say, acknowledge, don't deny the trigger, and say, I'm emotional, it's impacting me. But at the same time, like I was talking about perspectives, is this a setback or is this a step up? This is her going on to life to celebrate her next stage of her life that you helped her get to, right? So you, in a sense, have helped her to get to that next college level. So she can get through college and go on and, have a career and start her own family, whatever that may be for her journey. So does that make sense? You can type that in the comment section. Oh, wow. Okay, I see it. Wow, heart. Yeah. So it's interesting, right? The alignment, the coincidences, the synchronicity, if you will. So, all right. Again, anybody else, you have a question, type it in, come into the Zoom room. Zoom room is open. Love to chat with you, hold space for you, meditate with you, give you a healing modality, whatever that may be. And again, if you want to work with me outside of the community, you can go to marklanehardt.com and book your reading. I am back working now after my surgery. Still have a limited calendar, but I am open now that I'm semi-retired. Would love to, journey with you and help you in whatever I can. You're welcome, my friend. Thank you for being here today. So last call. If you have a question, type it in the comment section. If you want to come to the Zoom room, come in. I promise I will get better at bringing my phone. You can call me. Again, that business line is 206-588-0661. That's my business line for the Intuitive Prospector. Hi, Aaron. Good to see you. Thanks for being here. Anybody else? Last call for readings. Again, we're here on Fridays, most Fridays. Again, I apologize. I was a little late today. I was having some Zoom technology issues. It is Mercury retrograde until the 28th, so be patient. Be mindful of any decisions you're making. Give yourself extra time if you're traveling, especially if anything technology. It just, like I said, I've seen it for many years how technology is impacted by this season of retrograde. And of course, it's just easy for us to blame it on the universe and say, damn you, Mercury retrograde, but been being tracked since the 1700s through the Farmer's Almanac. So I believe that there is something to the patterns and the energy of how we exist, right? We're on a round planet going around a big ball of fire in this big thing of space, right? So it's just within itself, it's mind-blowing how we are existing. So, okay, so last call. I'm going to cue up a song to take us out if you don't have a request. I'll be back next Friday for another episode. You can go on my YouTube channel. You can just visit markleonhardt.com and subscribe to my YouTube channel as well. Again, we're about to hit 21,000 subscribers, so thank you so much. You can follow me also on TikTok or Instagram. Not so much on Twitter anymore. I'll probably end up taking my account off Twitter here. I've been kind of feeling that and thinking that. Of course, Facebook Live are all ways to connect with me. Or you can just type in the Intuitive Prospector on your keyboard and I will pop up somewhere, somehow, and we can prospect together to find the diamond within and the many diamonds and gems that are all around us if you are seeking for that. So let's get a good song. How about Bloom? There's a song called, so all my music is copyright free, so there's no trademark, no copyright, but I do play this music. The artist is called Black Doves. I don't know what the song's going to sound like, so I'll play it live. I've never listened to it before, but I have a sound collection through Meta that's approved, and I like to do that to promote artists. So if you want to check them out, the song is called Bloom by Black Doves. The genre is pop, so we'll see what it's like. Hopefully it's not too bad. But thank you for being with me today, interacting with me. I hope that the messages resonated with you. I don't see any other messages coming in. Again, thank you to my moderators who are behind the scenes watching and keeping the comments upbeat and collective community inspiration, encouraging, motivating, because that's really what I want to try to make my social media platforms moving forward. And I've been doing this for a couple years now, just because I've seen the change in social media. But hi, Tanita, am I saying your name right? Welcome. Hi, Brittany. Welcome. We're just at the last call. I'm getting ready to end. So if you have any questions, go ahead and ask real quick. If not, then we'll cue up the song. We'll have a great rest of our Friday. Happy weekend to you. Enjoy the rest of your summer. I'll be back next Friday. Podcast this Wednesday. Podcast next Wednesday. So the next few weeks we have our live broadcast, Inspired Living. You can get the podcast wherever you listen to your favorite podcast. You can get us through Audible. You can even say, Alexa, open up Inspired Living podcast, and I will play the latest episode. But we have 3 awesome guests coming up, so I'm excited for that. And then, of course, my YouTube show will start here in just about an hour at noon Pacific Standard Time over on my Soul Adventures YouTube channel. So appreciate you hanging out with me, and I hope that you have a great rest of your day. And as I always love to say when I close any of my shows, whether it's broadcasting, live shows, is be kind, be caring, be compassionate for one another. There's a lot going on in our world. I know that. And just more reason to have kindness, more reason to have compassion and empathy for another and to hold space for another. But until our next soul adventure together, dare to dream, dare to explore, dare to live, and discover the diamond within. And I'll see you next time here on Metaphysical Meetup with Mark Live here on the Intuitive Facebook page. I appreciate all of you. Much love. Namaste.
It's 8 p.m. I'm out alone. Not worried about a hand to hold. Don't need a guy to waste my time. Thinking I've got it on my own. And I see you there
One planet, 7.3 billion people, only one you. Life offers us many opportunities and learning experiences. Are you ready to explore and discover this beautiful planet, the life and energy all around us, the spiritual world, and what is unseen, along with your own personal soul adventure? Mark Lanehart, the Intuitive Prospector, is the spiritual connection you have been prospecting for. Internationally known as a tested and professional clairvoyant medium and spiritual advisor, Mark's work as a metaphysical teacher, medical instructor, radio show host, inspirational writer, and hiking guide are here to help you on a journey of self-discovery, healing, inspiration, education, and a whole lot of spiritual awesomeness. Dare to dream. Dare to explore. Dare to live. For more information on Mark's spiritual practice in Seattle, Washington, please visit marklanehart.com or internet search The Intuitive Prospector.